Hey, school success makers. Welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater, and today we're going to do something new that we've actually never done before. We're gonna try it out and let's just see how it goes. We kind of finished our mini series where we're going through things that you guys can do to help with enrollment, since we're obviously right in the middle of enrollment season. But then we've had some just great episodes in the past, and we've had over 100 episodes for the School Success Podcast, which is just awesome. So many great people, great interviews, and just great things that I've learned, and I know you guys have learned as well. So we're going to try something. We're going to do some episodes with just highlights of the different things we've learned from the different guests we've had on, and we're going to try and piece a few of them together for each week, so you guys can kind of get a recap of some of the biggest takeaways, the biggest moments that we've had on the podcast. So that's what we're going to do. So a little different, but I hope you guys enjoy and get some little nuggets from the episodes that you can, again, as always, take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. So please enjoy this week's highlights and episodes from past episodes on the School Success Podcast. Enjoy.
Time for school.
Here's why I think accreditation's process. You're absolutely right, Mitchell. Is it more work? Yes. Is it hard at times? Yes. I have probably less hair because of it? Yes. Yes. But I would tell you, here's why it's essential. Essential for two reasons. First, it's a continuous improvement process. You're looking at standards for which quality schools meet, and it helps you to take a look in the mirror as a school and go, where can we improve? And it uses an outside party to hold us a bit accountable to making those improvements. And when I say accountable, we don't lose our accreditation over it, but we have to do yearly reports of how we've been progressing in the area that we said we were going to improve on. So it is almost like forced continuous improvement for a school.
One of the nice things about being a school this size is you do get to know the parents and the grandparents very personally. That's not the case in some of the bigger schools I have been in. But, I would say the biggest challenge with parents, and I get this consistently from teachers who have been in teaching for some time, and that is there tends to be less support for the teacher in those instances where a child has had an issue than there were some years ago. Now, as I say here, that has really not been a big issue, but it has been in the schools that I've been in past in recent years. The idea is the school must be wrong first, and then they go from there.
Accreditation is pretty critical. I would tell you teachers are the number one reason kids are successful in the classroom. Now, the dirty little secret about education. So in the 1970s, there was a study called the Coleman study. And they wanted to know what were the factors that led to student success. Well, Coleman does this study. What he found was 8 of the 10 had nothing to do with schools. Had everything to do with parents. Did they attend their children's school events? Did they check homework? Did they eat dinner together? Did they talk about their day together?
We are a post-college covenant school, so at least one parent has to be either a member or a regular attender at a church in the area. We don't stipulate what type of church. And with most of our families, both parents do attend. And then when the students come in, we're not naive enough to think that they are already Christians. They've been exposed to it, but Christian faith is not one that works by osmosis. So we know that coming in. We just want to know that the family itself has some church connection. So, for instance, this year in our our little school, we've had 31 kids who have come to board for the first time. And so we need to be able to let their pastor know, let their families know, and so they can take it from there. And then we'll keep reinforcing what we do. I'm a firm believer that if the school, the church, and the family are all on the same page, that's about the strongest foundation you can have for a child.
Hey, school success makers, just a really quick break from the episode to highlight our amazing sponsors over at America's Christian Credit Union. They are celebrating 65 years of service this year, and they provide essential school banking services and a tuition financing program for schools looking to reduce their risk and administrative burden. And you guys can find out all about them on their website, americaschristiancu.com/schools. That's americaschristiancu.com/schools. They are amazing over there, and I always like to say, if you're a school that collects tuition and you have a hard time collecting all of tuition at the end of the year, maybe it comes around May, June, you're like, man, we only got collected 95 or 98% of what tuition was owed to our school. One of the things you can do is have your parents get a tuition financing loan through the credit union, and then they pay the credit union directly, and you get your funds up front at the beginning of the year as the school. So you don't have to chase people throughout the year, and you can focus on what you do best, and that is loving and educating your students. And it doesn't cost your school anything to do it. So check them out online, americaschristiancu.com/schools. All right, back to the show.
Even when an administrator is present, accreditation is such a task. It's kind of like trying to fix an airplane while in flight, right? It's flying, but you're trying to fix it and write reports about it and so forth. So what has been really helpful is I can come alongside an administrator, and having been an administrator, he or she can trust me to work with the faculty, develop teams, write reports, work with the agencies. And so it really becomes a team approach, and they then can operate the school while I'm working on accreditation for them and with them.
It shocked me over the years, and this goes back when I first went into education many years ago, and started interviewing people. It shocks me the number of teachers when I ask one question, and that is, do you enjoy whatever age group they're going to be working with? And it's amazing to me the teachers who say, well, no, I don't really enjoy that age group. And I have to say, you do know who you're going to be spending 8 hours a day with, right? But some college counselor or some family member has told them they need to go into teaching. And so they have, because I hear there's lots of jobs in teaching. And they really haven't thought about what that truly involves on a day-to-day basis.
Hey, school success makers, just a really quick break to highlight one of our amazing sponsors, and that is ClassReach. Now, ClassReach supports schools of all sizes from application to graduation. Take charge of your school with ease, power, and mobility using ClassReach, the school management software administrators and teachers love using. You can get your free demo at classreach.com. That's classreach.com. They are amazing people, and they provide this amazing SIS software for you to keep track of your students' grades, communicating with families that are enrolled, and a whole bunch more. So again, check it all out on their website, classreach.com. They are awesome. All right, now back to the show.
I think professional development is really important, and it's something that schools sometimes struggle with. Because again, it's fixing the airplane while in flight. You're operating the school. Oh, by the way, we're going to now focus on training. And so at one school, what I was able to do is lead them through a professional development day, and we approached we called it excellence in teaching.
There are those intangible qualities that make a teacher a really good teacher. And if I don't see those tangible qualities, then I've got questions about bringing that teacher on, because there are certain things I just can't teach them. When I get a first-year teacher, one of the main things I'm looking for is that they don't make the same mistake twice. They're going to make some mistakes because this is their first time in a classroom of their own, other than probably a short period of time as a student teacher. And so if I tell them they don't need to do it something the way they've done it or whatever, I tried to explain to them, is this a safety issue? Is it a liability issue? That sort of thing. I don't want to crimp their creativity in the classroom. But if that teacher is on this staff, then I have seen some intangibles in them that I don't know how to describe. I'm just able to identify after all this time. That it's just the way I look at their. This may sound crazy, but I look at their eyes a lot. If their eyes are just lighting up when they're talking about teaching and the kids they're going to be working with and this and that, then I know that passion is in them. And if they've got the right passion and they've got good common sense, then we can work through a lot of things together.
One advice I would give is don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. And so I mean that in two ways. Number one, you may be the leader of the school, but you have a community of teachers, and they'll view the world slightly different than administrators, and that's okay. But don't do it alone. Build teams, be collaborative, seek opinions, even if you know those opinions are going to be different than your own. I told an administrator of mine once, I said, I don't care where you get the information. Get information. It is too easy to think that you know, and you might not know. Now, all the information that may not be accurate, it may not be from the right perspective, whatever. But that's a whole discernment process. But you can't even discern if you don't have the information. So seek information. Don't do it alone. Involve people. Schools are communities.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that recap of some of the past episodes we've had on the podcast. And as always, I'm just hoping that you guys can take at least one thing away from any of these episodes that you can take back to your school to make your school better than it is right now. There's so many great things inside of these podcast episodes that we're hoping you guys can take back and use. So if you need to, go back and scan through some of the episodes. You can read through them and see some of the different people we've interviewed, the topics that we've talked about, and maybe you can grab something from there that maybe you're currently in the middle of or you're going through, or you just wanted some extra help or guidance on. Great way to kind of scan back through and look at the podcast. But hoping you guys kind of enjoy these kind of quick recap episodes. And as always, I've mentioned it before, we have three great free resources for you guys to check out. The first one, of course, is what you're listening to right now. It is the podcast. It's free, weekly episodes coming out that we want you guys to make sure you're chiming into and listening to and soaking in. The second one, we have a great Facebook community that we want you guys to make sure you're a part of, completely free. And it's called School Success Makers. So if you're on Facebook, go join in there. I'm personally in there. Love to see you in there as well. Or you can ask questions, connect with some different school leaders that are in there from all over the world. And then the last and last one of all of that is our School Success Report, which you can sign up for on our website currently, schoolsuccessmakers.com. In the top right-hand corner, you can click the button School Success Report. It is a weekly email that will go out, just kind of going over different articles that our team has written, highlighting some teachers, giving some articles and ideas that we have come across that we want to make sure you guys are seeing as well. So make sure you're getting that every week. Some great content that the team has prepared so we can put it out there for you guys to check out. And as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas, we want to hear from those, and we want to hear from you with those. So please contact us through our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com, and let us know those so we can better serve you guys. And we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back here next week with another awesome episode as usual on the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then.